You are listening to Practical and Woo by Mindset and Manifest. My name is Eden, and I invite you to embark on a journey with me to explore the practical and spiritual edges of the unknown for the purpose of allowing you to embody and empower yourself uniquely as you are and to intentionally create and live a life of freedom and fulfillment. Each week, I am going to discuss topics such as energetics, reality creation, manifestation, astrology, tarot, and more to help empower you to live beyond perceived limitations and to practically design your life so it feels like absolute magic every step of the way. Let's dive in. Well, hello, brilliant soul. This past weekend, my boyfriend and I went up to Port Stanley for the Nashville Takeover weekend. And while we were there, we were struck by the most incredible experience. Well, many incredible experiences, actually. But for this episode, I'm going to focus on just one. After our last event, we noticed our stomachs grumbling with hunger, and we sought to find some food post 10 p.m. in a beautiful but very small town. As we ventured out, we noticed some fairy lights and rhythmic dance music emanating down by the marina, summoning us in a way to explore. As we approached, we suspected that while this venue was still filled with so much liveliness, it somehow seemed like it was being wrapped up for the evening, meaning it wasn't going to be a viable option to get food. The venue is open concept, has a large, expansive patio, and so it was fairly easy to lock eyes with someone so that we could ask them if they were still serving food. The person that we ended up asking was the owner, a very strong and powerful looking man named Leo. Long story, slightly shortened, even though the restaurant was closed, Leo decided to make us some food anyway, and he also offered it to us on the house. To him, we were just two wanderers seeking sustenance, and he had no context to be kind, except for the generosity of his own heart. This moment struck me with such a force that I haven't been able to stop thinking about it. And the wisdom that emerges from this experience is the rarity of being kind without context. I'm reminded of a scene from Cinderella, a character who had not only spent years being overlooked, diminished, underestimated, and treated as though her existence is somehow worth less than the people around her, she also demonstrated on a day that was notably horrible, after she had met who was going to be the love of her life, and her stepsisters and stepmother tattered her beloved mother's dress, decreeing that she shall not go to the ball. Even on that day, when Cinderella's belief and faith in magic was waning, she demonstrated kindness to a stranger who approached her, an old woman who some would describe as strange, fragile, perhaps even unsettling. Nevertheless, Cinderella chose to engage her with kindness and generosity, offering her sustenance without context. That woman ends up becoming Cinderella's fairy godmother, the fifth business character who eventually serves to make her dreams come true. The truth is, we rarely know who someone is or is growing to be when we meet them. But even that shouldn't be the reason we choose to interact with kindness. Cinderella's actions came from a warm-hearted and generous place, not demanding or negotiating anything in return. There's power in recognizing the sacredness of another person, no matter who or what they are demonstrating to be in the moments that we meet them. Why should we demand more information before we decide how to relate to others? Why should we require credentials before we offer respect? So many of us have been taught, whether implicitly or explicitly, to determine value before extending ourselves. We've been taught to decide who is worth our time, energy, attention, generosity, patience, or our warmth. But the truth is that every single person you have ever met exists simultaneously in two forms, and that includes the version of them that you know and the version of them that exists beyond what you can perceive. And perhaps this is where we encounter something that feels uncomfortable because so many of us would never openly admit that the context of who someone is and what they might offer changes the way we treat them. We would like to believe that we extend the same warmth, patience, respect to everybody we encounter. But when we allow ourselves to notice the possibility beneath our experiences, we may soon notice that context is one of the most powerful forces that shapes our interactions. I want to invite you to imagine for a moment that you're introduced to two strangers. You're told nothing about the first. And the second is introduced to you as a successful entrepreneur, best selling author, world renowned celebrity with significant influence. Both of these people deserve to be treated with kindness and respect, but somehow, with the changed context, it's likely that most of us wouldn't engage with these two people identically. In feeling interested and attracted to the accolades of the second person, some of us would perceive them as more valuable, more worthy of attention. And while both people are people, the context surrounding them changes the way most of us would choose to treat them, respond to them, or relate to them. This is one of the shadows of human nature. There's no shame here, but we can choose, if we so desire, to transmute this way of relating and to rise above it, like Cinderella did with the first version of her fairy godmother, or how the restaurateur in Port Stanley offered to us. It's my desire for this episode to be an invitation to dismantle this habit we've unconsciously learned, the one where we somehow associate significance with perceived worth, the one where we've taught ourselves that some people matter more than others, that some people are somehow more important than others, and that some people somehow deserve more. I want it known and stated that we all matter and we all deserve what we deserve in life, which is our fullest and highest potential. You, me, us, and everyone in between and around. We don't need to ration our generosity, nor do we need to distribute our kindness according to perceived value or status, because dignity was never supposed to be earned, and humanity was never supposed to be something to be awarded. Looking at Leo's actions for me, the beauty of his gesture is found in the fact that he had absolutely no context for why he should help us. He didn't want anything from us, and he actually ended up giving us the meal on the house. So it wasn't even that we were going to be paying customers. He simply was a kind hearted man who had empathy for the fact that we were two people hungry at 10 p.m. on a Saturday night. And all I know is that I want to pay this kind of kindness forward every chance I get, even on my worst days. I want to meet others with the graciousness of an open hand and the kindness of an open heart. And so, brilliant soul, my invitation for you is simple. Allow yourself to notice where you require context before extending kindness, and to notice where you become more generous when someone is impressive. And then ask yourself, who would I be if I removed the context? And who would I be if I met every person first as a human who is worthy of kindness? Because the measure of our character is not found in how we treat the people society has already decided are important. It's found in how we treat the people from who we have nothing to gain. And if enough of us choose to live this way, I suspect we would discover that the world has been full of magic all along. Not necessarily because fairy godmothers are hiding among us, but because humanity itself is far more meaningful than we've ever been taught to remember. Until next time.